Guys, Jackie at Cruising the Sierra Farm. So I'm out here in one of the stalls in the shelter, and I wanted to talk to you guys about why there are lead ropes dragging from my cow, my Dexter cow, and her calf, Brogan. And so I'm gonna just get into it and tell you why. So I got Coco. They are watching and listening to me intently, and I also have cookies in my hand, homemade cow cookies. Hang on. You can go, Mama. Oh, goodness. Do you want one too, Broken? You already had one. You don't want any more? Oh, you want another one? Come on. There you go. Oh, gosh. You're so silly. I left it there for you. Here, Mama. There you go. There you go, Brogan. He took the last one from me. He usually eats one. Okay, so anyway, when I bought Coco, she was a wild cow. She had not had a halter on her. Didn't really stop it. She's being ornery now and knows I'm on camera and wants another cookie. Anyway, so she had never been off of the ranch that I bought her from. And was close to taking treats from the previous owners, but never did before I got her. And so you could just consider her a wild cow. And I was determined to turn this wild cow into my milking cow. Now, all of the conversations that I had had for months, more than a year actually, but specifically for months regarding this, people telling me, and I get it, it was a lot of work. It was going to be a lot of work, but I couldn't afford the prices of a trained Dexter milking cow. And so, let me turn this around. They apparently want to be in the video. All right. So anyway, for a good trained, Dexter family milk cow, I was looking at having to spend around $5,000 to get a good one. That was a proven good milker, and that just wasn't in my budget. And I mean, I guess I could have waited a lot longer to raise that money, but it just wasn't in the numbers for me for what I wanted right away. And I probably should have waited a while. But anyway, this little girl caught my eye because of her coloring. She was an absolute beautiful golden dun. Isn't that right, Miss Coco? Yes. She was a pretty golden, light colored, like blonde. And then after about a month and a half of having her, she started changing to a typical dun color. We aren't really sure what the issue was there. Maybe a lack of mineral in the grass that they were eating where I got her from, but there was mineral tubs. I don't know. We still don't even truly know. But it's something that the old owner and I have discussed multiple times. We're both very curious. Anyway, so this little girl had absolutely no hands-on training. I had to start off from scratch. So what that looked like for me, you can go back and look at the videos. I have lots of regular length videos, as long as longer videos, as well as shorts that will take you along my journey from the get-go. And the story from when I first got her is pretty crazy. And we lost her out in the desert for a day and a half. Go check that out. I'll try to remember to put a link to it in the comments so you can find it easily. But, we started out, I ended up having to have her at my sister's for a while. My brother-in-law, who's a cowboy, helped me out with getting a halter on her. But we let her be for probably about 2 days, 3 days. And then we got a halter on her with the lead on it. And I let her drag that around for a long time. But it was a means for me to be able to get a hold of her if I needed to. There was no way I was going to be able to do anything with her until that was on. So then this halter was given to me from a FFA gal here who shows steers, and she had this extra halter here. And then she also gave me a show stick, which has a hook on it. Let me show you that. So here's a show stick. And then at the very end of it is this hook. And that helps me be able to reach that, those lead ropes and grab them to be able to get a hold of them. So we started out slow and we just allowed her to have the ability to drag that rope, but also she self-trained herself somewhat by stepping on it. So as soon as she stepped on it, it didn't allow her to go any further, but once she stepped off, it released the pressure and allowed her to continue to go. So she was already self-training herself with this lead rope dragging around. Okay, so then let's go to, there was lots of training in between all of that, but let's go to the whole purpose of this video is why there's the lead rope hanging there still. I got her in May. It is now January of the following year. And here's what I can tell you. So when Coco had her calf, although she and I had a great relationship at this point, she became very protective of her calf. And so I couldn't touch it without her being very upset with me. And you couldn't allow yourself to get in between her and the calf. So if the calf was on one side of the shelter and you walked between her and it, she was not happy. And she would charge at me. And she never got me or anything, but she would charge at me letting me know he's off limits. So when it came time for me to separate the calf, hi, little miss. Yes, we're still talking about you. So when it came time for me to start milking Coco, did I say start milking the calf? Oh, separating the calf, I said. So we separate. Brogan's pen is over on the far side here. And every evening, I would have to come out and somehow figure out how to get him in there and her not. And so because, if I had tried to get hands on him, I was able to get hands on him very briefly. So basically what I had to do was I had to grab hold of her lead, which she always was never happy with. She would act all naughty, jump around, try to avoid us, run around the pen and try to avoid capture. But we got her to the point where we could grab the lead and walk her up here. And in that bucket right there, I would give her alfalfa treats and sunflower seed treats. And I would tie her to that pole right there. And that corner is where she stayed while I grabbed hold of her son or chased him around the pen to get him into his stall over there for the night. And so without tying her up, and trust me, she tried to get loose from being tied up, but it got to the point where it became just natural for her to be in that corner. Cows are very smart, and repetition is what makes a trained cow. So, and this is my first time, so this is all new to me. But I'm learning as I go, and I'm teaching myself as I go. She and I are teaching each other, aren't we, Coco? Aren't we, Coco? So anyway, that was our routine every night. And then Brogan got to the point where he gained some weight, and he was really hard to get to go. There were some days where I would chase him, and I'd have to run up after him so he didn't curve and go towards his mom, and he went into the stall instead. And those were the evenings that were really great for me. that he just ran right in. But there's been times where I've had to put my whole gusto in pulling his ass into the shelter. But then it became, I mean, he's now been following me in there without a problem. Although when I give mom treats now, anyway, sorry, they made some noise and started running off. I had to go see what it was. It was just my dog. So now I'm to the point where she can actually come up here, and I'll give her alfalfa pellets, and I don't have to tie her up anymore. But let me back up just for a second. So I was feeding in an old mineral tub, and it's got kind of a high neck on it. And so when she was eating, the clasp on her lead sometimes was getting caught and undoing itself, and then she'd be released from her. Are you excited and wanting to be in the video? Are you? Anyway, she'd get released from her lead rope, and I'd come out to milk in the morning. Now, usually, of course, okay, so when I first started, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place with this, but I want to make sure that you get the gist of everything that I've gone through and that you might experience yourself if you try to train a wild Dexter to be your milk cow. So anyway, in the beginning, I was having to drag her with the lead rope up through the center. Like, I'd come to the side of it, but I'd use the boards at the top to keep her from pulling back. Well, at least be able to keep her from pulling me back, I should say. So I used the wood as leverage, but I'd have to pull her up into the stanchion and all the way through the head gate and then latch her in. It got to the point where then she was just excited to get up there and get her treats and get milked. And of course, with subsequent cows, I'm hoping that it just becomes a thing that gets done and then you get your treats afterwards. Anyway, so it went from pulling her through to her just wanting to get up there in the morning. She'd usually get up before I even got all of her alfalfa pellets in there. And everything was going good until the first time that she got her lead off. Well, it wasn't her. It was just her eating and it catching on the rim of the feed bucket we were feeding her in. So those mornings, she absolutely knew she was free and used it to her advantage and played hard to get. I had to wrangle her to get her to go. I mean, it was like a game for her. She was like, ha, ha, ha. I am loose and I am not going up into the stanchion this morning. Just let my boy out and let him eat. And it was a chore to get her. The first morning it happened, it probably took me a good 20 to 30 minutes to get her. But I used that show stick with the hook to hook onto one of the rings on the side of her, or actually on the underside was the first time. I grabbed her from the underside and we fought a little bit and I finally got it clasped back on. And then it didn't happen again for another couple weeks. But when it happened again, it was so hard to get her back to get her close enough for me to clasp that lead rope onto, that I had to actually grab the chain on the loop on the end of the chain and use the pressure underneath, which I've never had to do with her. So she is absolutely naughty and knows that she can get away with murder when she does not have the lead on. I don't know how I would actually get Brogan into his pen without that lead rope on either, because if I've got mom that doesn't like me to really touch and be around her calf all that much, to him being so large now that it's rough, and then he tries to hide on the backside of his mom when she's eating in the corner, and it becomes a game for him too. But now he's gotten really good to where sometimes it's time and he runs in and I just close the gate. Most of the time I close the gate, I go in with him and spend time with him. I will leave him his feed for the night, and then she's just left to roam around all night long. So that is why they have lead ropes on them at all times. Her next calf, I'm hoping, will be a whole different story, that I will be able to do things differently. That's the plan, and be touching her and haltering her from the get-go to where she's very easily caught, and I don't have to do this whole game that I have to do with Brogan and Coco now. So anyway, I just thought I'd explain that to you all, and especially if you're new and you're looking to get Dexter to become your milk cow. The things that sometimes have to be done to get that milk if you want that milk bad enough. It's doable. You're talking to somebody that's never raised a cow before in her life, never trained a cow before, and I'm here doing it. I've been milking now for October, November, December, almost 4 months now. I absolutely love it. I also love the ability for, like, we just left and went to our daughter and son-in-laws to see them and our granddaughter for belated Christmas and her early birthday party. Well, actually, her early birthday. They didn't have a party, but we made a party while we were there. And I just let them be with each other the whole entire time we were gone. We were gone for like 2 days. And they did well, and she was fine. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share that all with you. That is why she has and he has the lead ropes on them. And they'll remain there until he is weaned and or just, gets to where he just automatically goes in there and I don't have to fuss much with it. But he's going to be getting a lot bigger than he is now. So it might take more than one of us to separate him at night. We've learned that she does not like to be in the pen and closed up. So he's in there. So anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might be interested. Oh, look at Brogan. He's in the feed bucket. What are you doing standing in the feed, mister? Oh, those two. I absolutely love them. I look back and I go, oh my gosh, I cannot even believe I'm actually here. Like, it's been a dream of mine, a goal of mine to have a family milk cow for a while now. And here I am doing it. You all have a fantastic day. We'll see you on the next video.